Have you ever had one of those hikes where everything starts off really well, and then, well, you get a little bit off track, and you try and get back on track, and then you find you get further off track. And then, well, somewhere about here, you start questioning your life choices. Episode 9 is one of those types of hikes. Join me for a hike up to the hole in the wall. Hey, is Dave there?
Well, what do I have for you today? If you look back up over my shoulder, you see a great big cave there, a big cave opening. That's hole in the wall, and it's just a little bit west of Banff. I'm going to hike up, we're going to check it out and see what it's about, hang out there and see if we can catch twilight in the cave before coming down. Now, this particular hike has been called difficult by some. There's scramble elements, maybe even some climbing elements in it, so I'm not sure what to expect. But then I've also discovered that one person's difficult is another person's cakewalk. I'm not sure why you would call it a cakewalk. That would be interesting. It sounds like it'd be rather sticky and gooey to me. Maybe I'll ask Doug. Doug is going to be joining me on this particular hike. I'm just waiting for him and we'll get started.
Apologies for the blood on my face on the intro clip. I guess what happened was I was out paddling in the morning, loaded up the kayak, and managed to nick myself on the cheek when I was tying it down. And I didn't realize that until I finished my intro videos and reviewed them at home. So unfortunately, that's the only video I have. While I was waiting for Doug to show up, this little fellow was crawling around on the rock, so I thought I'd go through my usual flora and fauna identification for you. This is a snouted beetle. Now here's a look at my homemade backpack. I can't recall if I've named it for you already, but I call this backpack Olive, named for the olive barrel that is on the base, and I use as a compartment on the backpack.
Now when you look at hole in the wall, you can tell, even from here, the enormity of that cave mouth, and you can even see a big grass patch there. So that's where I'd like to go sit and relax, but you can also see the channel that you go up, and it looks difficult, so I'll be curious how we do today, because that's going to be a bit of a dirty climb, I think.
The initial walk in is mostly along a power line, and then you cut uphill through a grassy meadow. When you start to break into the trees, the terrain steepens, and in this case we ran into some wildlife. Here's a close-up of a deer that we bumped in.
Oh, it's a mule. Do you ever wonder how close is too close?
Well, yes.
See if I can get a better picture of his head. He's really not fussed. That's funny, eh? Hey, buddy. You're okay. Eating the poplar buds. 1, 2, good 4x4. It's a nice buck.
For rule number 13, I didn't know how close too close was for this deer. I've never been charged by a deer, but I figured if it took a stomp or a charge towards me, then I would be too close.
It's, folks, that's like 20 feet, maybe 30 feet. I'm not going to scare them, but I am going to just do a little experiment. Goodbye. Yeah, that's a nice big meal. Off you go. No? You don't want to go? Oh, there you go. So here we are at the 3/4 point. It's just after that video you'll see of a nice big buck, which is amazing, and we got right up close to it. But now we're starting the steep stuff. So I think we're probably an hour in, Doug. Is that about right?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Here's my fancy new watch. Time of day.
Doug's
40
got
minutes.
40 minutes. So it's supposed to be 2 hours in. We're 3/4 of the way through. So I have a sneaking suspicion the rest is going to be little ups and rests and little
I'm
little
perfectly
scales.
in my aerobic heartbeat. Too.
Are you? You're right in the window. Doug's got a fancy watch. So we won't put the brand on. We're not advertising. But anyway, we're making it, but
Hope
Doug's...
you not get lost.
That's right. Doug and I are pretty sweaty so far. It's been warm out here. Well, we might be getting into the tough stuff. But Dougie and I agree, this is the best view so far. Look at that, the Bow River, the lakes, even some of the rock formations, kind of cool.
Trees just growing out of nothing.
Yeah. So this is getting a bit dirty now. I'm up where Doug's coming up, and it's really kind of steep dirt, which is hard to go on. But a lot of people come right up this front, and it's very blocky. So we're going to go look at the corner and see how we feel. So here's where it gets interesting. At this point, we do a little bit of a wander because we think we might not be on the right trail. We decide we are on the right trail. We press up a little bit farther, and then you can see it gets really crazy. We go on one side, then we go on the other side. We get pinched out, and you can see a bit of back and forth, and a little bit of what you see there in that little knot is a bunch of vertical climbing back down. And then we ultimately decide that maybe this isn't the right day to do this. So we got turned back on what I would call the all trails route. It was the earth was a little wet, it's quite slippery and difficult. But we came around to the right, off the trail route, up this. You can see Doug down there. And it looks like there's a traverse that gets us most of the way over that crux. So I think this might be the right way to do it. Duck around that rock band, come up this dirt trail, and go around. Now, unfortunately, we have this coming at us. Looks like a rainstorm, so we are going to call it for today, and this adventure is to be continued. So I think the decision was right. Here comes the rain. What do you think, Doug? Another day. We'll call this part 1, hole in the wall. There will be a part 2. Beer's on me at the bottom. The weather couldn't seem to make up its mind on the way down. We had patches of rain and sun. But after doing a little more reading about this climb, and the crux in particular, it's highly recommended to be done when it's perfectly dry. Sometimes you just got to make a safe call and turn around, and we'll go at it again. Not everything can be a successful adventure. Definitely not a cakewalk. Doug, any thoughts about where that came from? Where did where do you think cakewalk came from?
Oh my goodness. Cakewalk. Yeah.
I have to look it up.
Because like it makes on the surface no sense.
Right. I think of cakewalk, and what do you think of? Sloggy, sticky.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't want to walk on cake.
The term cakewalk has its origins in a dance where you won a cake, and it was a form of satire that allowed the enslaved people to mock the strict manners of their masters, often with high prances and exaggerated actions. But cakewalk means something that's kind of effortless and elegant, and so we can see that it has this kind of performance origin, and it also has this deeper satirical origin, which is quite interesting. Now, the best thing we can do, oh, there goes the light. Best thing we can do, Olive has a special treat for us.
Where are you?
I'm going to zoom back out there. Because even if it's a failure,
Cheers.
these beers went up and down with us.
Well, up and down with you.
Up and down with me. So,
Here,
snap that lid. I can't snap mine. Here, snap mine.
Oh,
There you go. And a little shaken, but
cheers.
great adventure. I don't know if there's anything better than a beer after hockey or after a hike. That is the best beer ever. Stick with me for the next few episodes where we'll visit our cottage in Ontario and do a few little underwater and local adventures. Please like and subscribe if you want to keep the adventures rolling. Dave's not home, man.